Most of us in Colorado's disability community have heard of JFK Partners, but do we know all that it does and where it began? Probably not. We may know a piece of what JFK does, but most likely we don't realize all that it does to contribute to the disability community in Colorado. That's the purpose of this video. The story of JFK Partners begins with the Kennedy family. Rosemary Kennedy, 16 months younger than John F. Kennedy, was born with a developmental disability. It was the Kennedy family experience that you can have all of the money in the world, but if there are not competent, trained clinicians, then in fact you can't buy appropriate services because they just don't exist.
The Kennedy children were inspired by their sister Rosemary. She was a powerful source of commitment to do all they could do to help all people with disabilities live full and productive lives. The Kennedys left a legacy of this commitment with the creation of many organizations focused on helping people with developmental disabilities.
At the urging of his sister Eunice, John F. Kennedy made disability rights a major platform for his presidential campaign. No other president had ever made disability rights a major platform. Legislation to fund centers such as JFK Partners came in 1963 under the Kennedy administration after a year-long presidential panel. The presidential panel recommendations laid out a blueprint for a future for individuals with developmental disabilities in the community versus in institutions. The core mission of the Mental Retardation Services and Facilities Construction Act of 1963 was to build within universities research, training, treatment, and diagnostic centers with a vision that they would lead the way in building inclusive communities. The act was signed into law on October 31, 1963. Today, the Developmental Disabilities Act serves as the legislation that designates funding for centers like JFK Partners. The Act names them University Centers of Excellence in Developmental Disabilities Education, Research, and Service, also known as UCEDS.
Currently, there are 67 UCEDS across the country, with at least one center in every state and territory in the U.S. Each UCED is affiliated with a major research university. Funding for UCEDS comes from the Administration on Developmental Disabilities in the form of a federal grant. Applications must be submitted every 5 years in order to continue the funding. When Congress made federal funding available to assist in building these centers, the University of Colorado successfully applied for funding with the support from Colorado's governor and legislature, the Colorado ARC, and the Joseph P. Kennedy Jr. Foundation. Additional matching funds for the building were donated by several Colorado organizations. A building was constructed on the CU Medical Campus at 8th and Birch in Denver, Colorado, to house the John F. Kennedy Child Development Center. The center occupied the space on the bottom 3 floors, which included a preschool. The B.F. Stolinsky Research Lab occupied the upper 3 floors.
The dedication day was May 4, 1968. Eunice Kennedy Shriver was present at the ceremony and laid the cornerstone for the building. It was from that day that the JFK Partners we now know began to build a community of professionals and families all working together toward providing the most effective treatment, diagnosis, research, and training in order to help people with developmental disabilities live full and productive lives in their community. In May 1993, Corey Robinson was appointed as director of JFK Partners. With her appointment, JFK became an interdepartmental program of the Departments of Pediatrics and Psychiatry. Efforts also began to coordinate JFK services and the similar services of the Child Development Unit at Children's Hospital. In 2010, Sandra Friedman, director of the Child Development Unit, was appointed as Associate Director of JFK Partners. In November 2007, JFK Partners moved from its original location on the 9th and Colorado campus to the Anschutz Medical Campus. Located on the 5th floor of the Education 2 South building, JFK Partners has state-of-the-art evaluation and observation rooms, research space, as well as training facilities for courses and events. JFK Partners collaborates with the Child Development Unit located at the Gary Pavilion at Children's Hospital to provide interdisciplinary evaluations for children with developmental disabilities. There are several faculty that work on projects for both JFK and CDU. This unique collaboration helps both organizations offer more resources for families. If you took a poll of the nearly 85 faculty, staff, trainees, and fellows of JFK Partners, asking what a typical day is like at JFK, you'd probably get 85 different answers. Not only do we have a variety of professionals working at JFK, ranging from psychologists to occupational therapists to early interventionists, we also have many different functions that we all perform. Here you see all the different functions of JFK Partners: clinical work, research, dissemination of materials, continuing education for professionals already in the field, technical assistance and consultation, and interdisciplinary pre-service training for students. There isn't any one person at JFK who does just one of the functions listed here. Let's look at some examples. Judy Reven is a clinical psychologist and director of the JFK Clinic. She provides diagnostic evaluations, pre-service training for psychology students, conducts research on anxiety and autism, consults with teachers to help them work better with youth with disabilities, speaks at events, and disseminates information by writing journal articles. Her role touches on every function at JFK. Kristen Kaiser is one of several parent liaisons on faculty at JFK. The parent liaisons all have first-hand experiences at being a parent of a child with a disability. Kristen talks with families who are newly diagnosed, teaches in pre-service courses about family support issues, runs parent focus groups, created a support group for moms on the spectrum, and writes about her experiences.
As you can see from both these stories, everyone at JFK contributes in different ways, whether it be determining a diagnosis, providing services, consulting with schools, training future leaders, researching new ideas, or disseminating information. JFK Partners is about helping individuals with developmental disabilities and their families live full and productive lives in an inclusive community.
So now you have a better idea of what JFK Partners is all about. It is our hope that our work moves you to act, to reach out, to realize how you too can help others in your community with developmental disabilities. We invite you to visit our website at jfkpartners.org to see how you can get involved.